Hey all, so I just wanted to talk to you about Pear Deck today. Pear Deck is something that I started using with my students um, last fall, and I've noticed a marked increase in their engagement levels and in their participation at group time. We are a one-to-one district, and so all of our students have iPads, so that has been helpful for using Pear Deck. Um, but I started using Pear Deck because when we were doing distance learning, I did Google Slides. And I started Google Slides and did like the distance learning virtual Google Slides. And when we started back in school, I kept that and I kept doing that because for familiarity, because they were so used to it. And then when we started back in like January of 2022, I thought it would be good for them to just keep doing what we were doing. And so we just continued doing that and it worked out really great. And then last fall, I was like, how can we, instead of just projecting it and having it be just, bigger and projected, and we don't have interactive projectors in our classroom. So I was like, well, how can I make this more interactive and engaging? And so, and not just a TV show for them to watch. And so I found Pear Deck, and Pear Deck is awesome. So this is the Pear Deck website. So once you are logged in, you can go in here, and I think a lot of people use Pear Deck with older students because there's a lot more you can do with older students. But I did find that it works really well for our younger students as well, even with special needs. So you can go in here and you can find different lessons that are already created and take what you can. See, a lot of it is for older students. They do have some pre-K lessons, but even that was a little bit too challenging for the students in my classroom. So what I do is I go into my Google Docs and I create my Google Slides. So this was my Google Slides for in the summer. And what I like to do is so first of all, actually, I should say, I have the Pear Deck Google add-on. Sorry, my daughter's in the background. And I click on this, and it'll pop up over here on the side. So it's pretty awesome. You can open the template library from here. You can start a lesson from here. And then you have all of the different things that Pear Deck does. So you can have students enter text. You can do like a multiple choice. You can do numbers, link in websites.
Can I tell
You can draw,
Mom,
or and then draggable. So the things that I use the most with my early childhood students would be, or like the only two that I use, I guess, would be draw and draggable. Yeah. So, but you can go to like the template library, and they do have some, you can look in here for like littles. They have some K2 slides. And so some of the ideas that they have in here for all the different areas. But I like to just do my own. So I'm going to go back, and so this would be like my first slide. And I start this as my first slide as students are coming over and we're getting their iPads ready, and they're sitting down. So this was when we were using the core word like, and so they could come over and draw on their iPad and say, I like, and find the things that they like. So what I would do is click on this draw. So we're going to add an interactive drawing board on theirs. So it says right here, students draw anywhere on this slide. So when they're on their iPad, they'll be able to make marks and pick colors and draw. And then, so then my next slide is we always do kind of like Brown Bear song and just for a calming activity while we get ready for group time. And so I probably would do drawing again. So I would just click drawing on here. And this video right here, the brown bear, this does not show up on their iPad. So they can't click play, which is really nice because then you don't have like a whole bunch of kids clicking play for brown bear and everybody being at the wrong spot. So this is the only thing that shows up on their slide, and they can mark when we get to, the students in my class really like, as we go through the brown bear song, like checking off each of the animals. And then I do like a rule song, and this one I also do like the drawing because then they can go along with me as we're singing the song and underlining the words. Another thing that I like to do is say, okay, these are the 4 things that we need to do during meeting time today. We need to do our greeting, we need to do our message, we need to do our core word, and we need to read our story. So one thing I like to do is put a draggable in here. And for this, I think I would do, so if you click that, you can find all the things that you can drag. So I think I'll do check marks. Actually, no, I'm going to do numbers. Do is add in some numbers, and you can do different colored numbers. I think I'll just like switch and do all of the same color. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they know we have 4 jobs, and then we can be all done. That has helped tremendously too, because they know like these are the things I have to do. So I'm going to update the slide. And then on their iPad, when they're on it, they'll be able to, they'll have these numbers over here. They'll be over here on the side, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they can move them, like first we do this, second we do this, third we do this, and then fourth we do this. So that has been very helpful as well. Another thing, so then we'll do our greeting. We'll do a greeting song, and I don't put anything on this one. So on their iPad, it's blank. And so, but it is on mine and on the projector. Then we talk about our feelings. And this one, I do a drawing as well. So they can draw how they're feeling or circle how they're feeling. And then we go through their names and do a greeting for each of the students. And I usually have their picture here. I took that off so I could show you what I do. But then I add a drawing. I do a lot of drawing just so that they're engaged and interactive, and they can just like draw on it. They can trace it, and they love doing it. So they'll trace the B for the student. And then we sing them a song, and then we go to the next student and we'll trace the J, and then we'll sing them a song. So we go through that. What we'll do for this slide is we talk about how many friends at school today. And so we'll count. So I do this, I add another draggable and click on numbers so that we can count how many friends are at school. And so then I'll just do 1 and 2 right now. So this is what it'll look like. And a lot of my students, they don't like move the 1 and 2 into the box, but they will take the numbers and put them on each student. So they are getting that 1-to-1 correspondence. Let's update it. Okay. And then, so then we'll do our daily message and do another drawing one. We can also do a draggable and put something in here. And our read aloud. So those are all the things that we do. This week we did Pete the Cat. But a lot of times I'll take pictures of all the the pages in the book and then put them in there so that while we're reading it, they can also follow along. And they can't, in Pear Deck, they can't, it's a teacher-led activity, so they can't move ahead of you. I turn the pages on their iPads. And then the last thing is then we kind of talk about this again, like, did we do all of our jobs? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do another draggable. And this time I do like little check marks. So let me see if I can find the check marks. There's the check marks, and we'll add like 4 check marks. Like, did we do our greeting? Yes. Did we do our message? Check. Did we do our core word? Check. And then you can put the check marks right on it so they can see what we do. And then the next slide will be like, okay, what is next? We are all done. And then so this is how I create it. But when you're ready to start the lesson, you would click here, over here on this side. And this is where you could do some student-paced activities, like some small group lessons. I have not done that yet, but I do the instructor-paced activity. And I'll click on that. I'll say start a new session.
Mom.
And then it'll look like this. And we say, got it. And then here's our code. And so what I like to do is I take their iPads and I put Pear Deck on their iPad on the website, and I'll upload it to their homepage so that we can just click on there, and then we put in the code. And I do this same Google Slides mostly all week, so it's the same code all week, so it's super easy. So just right before we go to group time, I'll put them all in. I put on guided access so they can't get out. Although sometimes they still figure out how to get out. I don't know why, but they figure it out. And so we'll do guided access, but then I also have to train the paras too to help during this time, because sometimes kids will get out of it, or sometimes they get stuck or whatever. And so if the paras can help troubleshoot, then that helps out so much. I love it so much, and it's been very helpful. There have been times where the students aren't interested, and I've realized it's because I need to change up some of the slides or make it more interesting or add some more interactive pieces in there. And I still use some props. I still use like a felt board. Sometimes I still use things like that. It's not all digital. It's just a way a different way, I guess, of increasing engagement and seeing what the students will do with this tool. So anyway, let me know what you think.